was first told that you could regrow a head of lettuce in a bowl full of water, I looked at my sister as if she was crazy. But then we tried it. We cut off the bottom portion of a head of lettuce, put it in a bowl, placed a little bit of water in there, and set it on a windowsill. Today I'm here to talk to you about hydroponic growing systems. Now some of you may know very little about growing plants, or you just don't have the space to do so. This speech will inform you how even you can learn to grow plants in your own kitchen. Now some of you may know a lot about gardening. You may even be an avid gardener. Today, this speech will show you a new way of gardening. As a student of horticulture, I have learned a great deal within the past year and a half about growing plants. I've also done some research, looked up a few websites and articles to give you enough information. We will be discovering what hydroponics is, types of hydroponic systems, and some advantages, disadvantages, and uses. Now, hydroponics is, according to Rita Heikenfeld, who wrote the article, Explore 4 Hydroponic Systems for Beginners, is soilless gardening. Now, the basic needs of a plant are water, light, nutrients, oxygen, and most of the time soil. However, in hydroponics, you're not using soil. We're using different types of media. Now, there are several different types of media. Here I have some of the more common ones. You have vermiculite, peat moss, and perlite. Now, media doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, and it's very well draining. So the water has to have some type of nutrient solution in it when watering the plants. Now that we have talked about what hydroponics is, let's move on to some different growing systems. The first growing system is deep water culture. Now, in a deep water culture system, you do not use media at all. What you're going to do is the plants are actually going to be suspended in your water and nutrient solution, and you're going to have some type of pump that puts oxygen into the water, a lot like a bubbler on a fish tank. Deep water culture systems are pretty simple and easy to use. They're used a lot in organic gardening. According to Full Bloom Hydroponics, who published the article Hydroponic Systems 101, deep water culture is, quote, an excellent choice for organic hydroponics, unquote. Now our next system is wicking. Wicking is where up top you have your plants in your media, a lot like a pot, and then down below you're going to have a water reservoir. And what's going to happen is you're going to use some type of cotton material, yarn is a good example, and it's going to bring water up from that reservoir all the way up to the plants, and it's going to very slowly water the plants. The second system is ebb and flow. In an ebb and flow system, it's set up a lot like wicking, where you have the container up above and the water reservoir down below. Except for in this system, there's going to be a pump that brings the water down or up from the reservoir, brings it up, waters the plants, that water falls back through the reservoir, and it's just going to keep up a cycle, and it's going to do that at specific intervals. Now that we have talked about different growing systems, let's move on to some advantages, disadvantages, and uses. So the first disadvantage is increased growth. So the plants are going to grow about 25% faster, and they're going to produce 30% more. When I decided to grow that head of lettuce in that bowl full of water, it took about 21 days to regrow that head of lettuce. If you look at the back of a lettuce seed packet, it says it's going to take about 50 to 60 days to maturity. That is a huge difference from 21 to 60. Now, the second advantage is less water. According to Rita Heikenfeld, quote, system is enclosed, which results in less evaporation, unquote. So there's going to be a lot less evaporation in an enclosed system, and you're not going to have to worry about any type of leaching. The water can also be reused in specific systems, such as the ebb and flow. You're constantly reusing the water and nutrients. Now, the first disadvantage is the cost. The initial cost is a lot higher to set up a system than it is to just go buy some soil. The second disadvantage is time. You have to figure out what system you want to use, you have to set up that system, and then you have to continually monitor the system, because if you have something such as a pump fail, the plants could potentially die. Now there are several uses for hydroponics. You can use it on a large scale, small scale, such as in your kitchen or in your garden. You can use it all year round, whereas here in Idaho we have winter months where you can't grow lettuce. If you bring those plants in, you can do hydroponics just in your kitchen to grow some lettuce in the wintertime. You can also do it on a large scale. Up in Alaska they have a very short growing season, and so in order to mass produce plants, you can do hydroponics in a greenhouse to provide fresh and local food for people, such as in Alaska where the growing season is very, very short. Now you know what hydroponics growing systems are. We have looked at what hydroponics is, different types of hydroponic systems, some advantages, disadvantages, and uses. Now, when I first put that lettuce head in a bowl of water, I had no idea that I was doing a hydroponic system. But in that few weeks, we gave it fresh water every few days, and we kind of just left it on that windowsill. It was very simple, very easy, and we didn't even have anything to give oxygen to the bottom of the plant or anything. That's how simple hydroponics can be. And according to Barbara Damrosch, good gardening is very simple, really. You just have to think like a plant.